automobiles from front to back. Take our word for it. I'm alongside the Hall of Famer. That's Deion Sanders. I'm Cole Wright at your service in prime. One thing is 100% for sure. Ironclad, one of your former teams, the San Francisco 49ers, they are for real this season. Did you see him today? Of course you did.
Man, let me tell you something, man. This team may be the best team in the NFC, and I didn't stutter nor did I stumble.
Okay, we'll get to that. Who is exactly the best team in the NFC in just a little bit. But in the meantime, let's change. It's very similar, but it's the passing yards and the yards per attempt and the touchdowns to interceptions that really jump off the page for Mr. Rodgers. Aaron doing what he does, and of course, leading his Packers to yet another win, just one loss on the season and 7 victories. And Prime, as you watch this game, it was a contest from front to back, but at the end, Aaron Rodgers doing Rodgers-esque kind of things. Those first 3 weeks of the season, well, he wasn't the Aaron Rodgers we know and love, but on this night, 31-24, just another day at the office.
Well, the level of expectation with us for Aaron Rodgers and guys like Tom Brady, Drew Brees, it's out of the century. It's over the top. So when they're not performing with excellence, we seem to be so critical of them. Because anybody else, we would be raving and ranting about how great they are. This is another typical performance by Aaron Rodgers. He did just enough to be victorious in this game. Matt Moore, let me tell you something, man. We can't downplay what he accomplished tonight. This is a backup quarterback going on a major stage, Sunday Night Football, and he battled our league's, arguably our league's best quarterback in Aaron Rodgers and went right down to the wire. His defense came up short. He didn't come up short. His defense came up short because they could not consistently stop the run.
24 of 36 Matt Moore was, but in the end, it was an L, 31-24. Green Bay coming out on top with the victory. Now, let's make the move because Carolina is down and Drew Brees, well, he's just good. Now, the last 6 games, here's how the Saints shaken out on offense. You see right there, points per game, 25 weeks 3 through 7, but this week in Drew Brees' return, 31 and 510 total yards. It was as good as it gets. And Drew Brees, here he is on coming back.
I was hoping this would be the week. You know, this was kind of the week that I had in my mind from the moment that I got hurt. I think the doctors and everybody were saying after the bye week, but I was trying to fast track that as much as possible. But understanding that, you know, there's a healing process that needs to take place. But, man, let's try to push this as much as we can. And, you know, a lot of it was just, you know, ability to get a grip on the ball and be able to throw the ball accurately and just, you know, be myself and not think about it and be able to play confidently. And so as soon as I could grip it and rip it, then, you know, I wanted to play. I wanted to be out there with my teammates.
Now, Prime, he said he knew he wanted to play. He knew that he wanted to be out there with his teammates. But, of course, it was Arizona this week. Next week, it's the bye. And then week 10, it's the Atlanta Falcons. Did Drew Brees, did he need to come back so soon? What do you say?
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you want to come back against the Arizona Cardinals?
True.
Come on, you know you're going to get the victory. It's just like Pascal playing against their defense, one of the worst in the NFL. And the thing that I love about these New Orleans Saints is where their defense is right now. In the top 10 amongst the league, second versus the run. You know what you're going to get for that Sean Payton-led offense now with Drew Brees back at the helm. But defensively, they stepped it up. They continuously put pressure on the quarterback. They're forcing turnovers, and now they can stop the run. That's the formula for success.
And they are successful, 7-1 with that 31-9 win over the Arizona Cardinals. Prime, I was so excited about your San Francisco 49ers that I almost jumped right past the Saints. So now it's time to head to the Bay Area because San Francisco, when it comes to solid teams in the NFC, we've talked about San Francisco, Carolina, not really in that conversation, but the New Orleans Saints, as good as it gets. Prime, who is the best team right now in the NFC?
The best team in the NFC, I would have to go with the New Orleans Saints. Why? Because Drew Brees, Sean Payton is at the helm. They've been there. They've done that. They've won a Super Bowl. They're not going to fold up under pressure. I'm worried about one guy, and that's Garoppolo. Can he do it? Can he handle the pressure when it comes down to it and he has to make that big play? Can he handle the pressure when it's an all-out blitz, when everything is coming at it and that running game isn't as potent, but that defense sure is? These two are in a are on pace for a head-on collision in the NFC Championship. I cannot wait to see it.
Okay, Prime. Despite the fact that Carolina was blown out, 51 points, that's what San Francisco put up on the board. Cam Newton, he made the trip, and he hasn't made a trip in quite some time. What do you say, next week versus the Titans? If he's healthy, should he get the starting nod? What do you think?
I won't touch it right now. I won't touch it right now. The kid has been balling. I'm going to get a kid another shot. It's not like he stunk it up. He had 3 interceptions on the day, but what? This is the number 2 defense in the NFL. You had to expect that, especially in a blowout-like fashion. Well, defenses are very opportunistic, especially the secondary. When you're blowing somebody out, you're sitting in a rocking chair in the secondary saying, okay, I'm going to take this chance. I don't care if I get beat, I get beat. I'm going to take this chance, and I'm going to be aggressive. And defensive coordinators, they have the luxury of being very aggressive when the score is of this nature, and they were totally dominant today. That San Francisco 49ers defense is they're second in the league. They speak for themselves.
Prime, it's week 9 right on the horizon. What do you think? Cam Newton, do we see him the rest of the season, if at all?
You're going to see him the rest of the season, but you can't bench the kid for one bad outing against one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Like you said, he had 3 interceptions.
Who gives you the better chance to win right now? It's going to come down to who gives you the better chance to win right now.
Ron Riv, you have to ask yourself
and they got
to
make that decision.
Yeah, who gives you a better chance to win?
They got to make that decision.
Allen or
because
Newton?
that decision could cause you to lose the locker room, guys.
Yeah, there are decisions to be made. And speaking of decisions, only one decision. When will you tune in? For the pregame or for actual kickoff? 49ers, Cardinals, that's going down Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern time. You can catch it right here on NFL Network, also on Fox, and streaming on Prime. Big bowler, but either way, yeah, perfect 300. Not too bad. Now, Prime, I want you to finish this sentence. We teased the show a little bit earlier during Sunday Night Football, and I said, if the Patriots, if they don't do this, they will not win the Super Bowl. Finish that sentence for me.
If Tom Brady and Julian Edelman get kidnapped, they would not win the Super Bowl.
I don't see that happening anytime soon because the security details surrounding those two guys, pretty solid. So pretty much plain and simple, what you're actually saying is that the Patriots are a shoo-in for Super Bowl 54 down in sunny South Florida.
You have the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense in the NFL. What more is there to conversate about? And you have arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Arguably the greatest, not arguably, the greatest darn coach of all time. What more is there to talk about?
Well, what about next week? Patriots at Baltimore, week 9, taking on Lamar Jackson. We know that Bill Belichick, defense, it's his wheelhouse, and he likes to game plan, take away your strength and make it your weakness. But how do Bill B and the Patriots game plan for that man right there, number 8? He's slippery.
You got to take away the top 3 things that they do. They love the read. They love the read option. You got to make Lamar Jackson sit back there and throw the football. But guess what, guys? It's going to be one-on-one, man-to-man on the outsides because you got to close all the running lanes because if you have your back turned one-on-one and this guy breaks out of there, you're going to hear the band playing next. Yeah. I cannot wait to see this. But the thing that they have to do is keep Tom Brady off the field by running the darn football. And the Baltimore Ravens know how to do that as good as anyone in the NFL.
Patriots, Ravens, Sunday Night Football, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And Prime, you and Chris Rose, you're going to give everybody the rundown on week 9 as soon as that one wraps up. It's going to be interesting. All the automobiles from front to back, take our word for it. I'm alongside the Hall of Famer. That's Deion Sanders. I'm Cole Wright at your service. And Prime, one thing is 100% for sure. Ironclad, one of your former teams, the San Francisco 49ers, they are for real this season. Did you see them today? Of course you did.
Man, let me tell you something, man. This team may be the best team in the NFC, and I didn't stutter nor did I stumble.
Okay, we'll get to that. Who is exactly the best team in the NFC in just a little bit. But in the meantime, let's change. It's very similar, but it's the passing yards and the yards per attempt and the touchdowns to interceptions that really jump off the page for Mr. Rodgers. Aaron doing what he does, and of course, leading his Packers to yet another win. Just 1 loss on the season and 7 victories. And Prime, as you watch this game, it was a contest from front to back, but at the end, Aaron Rodgers doing Rodgers-esque kind of things. Those first 3 weeks of the season, well, he wasn't the Aaron Rodgers we know and love, but on this night, 31-24, just another day at the office.
Well, the level of expectation with us for Aaron Rodgers and guys like Tom Brady, Drew Brees, it's out of the century. It's over the top. So when they're not performing with excellence, we seem to be so critical of them. Because anybody else, we would be raving and ranting about how great they are. This is